Hello everybody, my name is Anatoly and today we're going to be customizing my MacBook Pro that I bought a few years ago for 2200 euros.
We're going to transform it into this.
But before we start, let me explain why. Reason number one, I care too much about things that I own. Doesn't matter if it's a brand new MacBook or my new recurrent shoes. And the true reason behind it is that I can barely afford it. But once I dent it or scratch it, I set free. So that's what I want to do with my laptop. Reason number two, we as humans want to be more unique. It makes us sad when we see a person wearing the same stuff as we do. That is one of the reasons why I like buying Japanese clothes. It's just less chance to encounter somebody with the same stuff. And by the way, according to the Apple Insider, in 2018 there was 100 million active Macs. That's an astonishing number for machines looking exactly the same. And I want mine to be different. But that's enough talking. Let's start working on a project.
I always start sketching in Adobe Illustrator. I know that's stupid, but it is what it is. I already measured my laptop, so I'm going to use these dimensions. Now I can sketch rough corners. You can see that I drew a tiny circle. That is the original feet from the MacBook. I have to keep them in mind, so I can cover them. Now I want to make ornaments. It's a key part of my work. I do that because I believe minimalism killed all the character. All the objects we have look like flat bricks. Of course I'm gonna place my logo in here. By the way, I have horrible 3D skills, so I came up with my own technique. I would split one object into a few layers, then I would extrude each layer in Cinema 4D and combine it together to get the final object. I call this style sandwich 3D modeling. It works fairly well for my flat ideas. Now I need to create a new object that will repeat the shape of a computer, so I could exclude this shape out of my corner to achieve the perfect fit. And here's the result. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Now we need to finish with the rest of the parts. But before that, let's print this. It's very important how you place the model. It's going to affect the print time and the layer line. I saved it on my memory stick and brought it to my printer. As always, put the card with the wrong side. I started the print, and after 47 minutes the print is ready. In total I made 5 iterations of this model until I achieved the perfect quality, fit and the thickness. It's always a very slow process when you have to work around the ready-made object. I'm not a product designer, so I hate this part. The first one had horrible layer lines, the second one had really bad fit, third one was too thin, fourth one was almost perfect, finally the fifth one worked the best. I painted it and sanded until I achieved the final look. Now I need to make the bottom corner. It's gonna have foldable leg, and it's gonna lock in place with M4 screw. Luckily I have some leftovers from my 3D printer kit, and I'm gonna use those. Here's I'm trying to repeat the shape of top corner. Let's hide all the other layers, so it will be easier to 3D model. Now let's make the leg. And to be honest, I completely forgot to record how I built this part. So I had to start from the scratch just for the video's sake. So I kinda skipped some moments here and there, but it's not a tutorial, right? So I guess it doesn't matter. Now I need to round the edge so it would rotate freely. Then I need to add a hole for the screw. And I'm gonna use lots of booleans for the screw, head, and the nut. Now I need to align all the parts and do the boolean magic. And it took me a little bit of time because the model was glitching. Now let's move on and design some feet, so it won't scratch my table. Now I'm testing how it's gonna rotate, and of course I need to adjust the bottom of the leg, so it would be flat on the surface. By the way, I got the angle wrong. I could have moved the edge, but I prefer using the boolean. The model is ready and looks good, but it took me so many attempts to make everything right. You won't believe it. Here's the first, second, third, fourth. The first one didn't fit properly and the leg was too short. I made the leg longer, but it became weak. Then I made leg much thicker and improved the fit. Here's the final one. I made some adjustments to the design and again added ornaments. By the way, it's the first moving part I ever designed. That's exciting. But let's move to the next part. I was too lazy to take a picture of my charger, so I found one online. I brought it to Cinema 4D so I could reference it. And of course I measured all the dimensions. Here's I'm adjusting the reference image to the real dimensions, making round corners. And of course the most important part, my logo. And you're probably guessing right now, what does it mean? It says Ask, and it's my initials. Here I'm designing the cable holder, basically inspired by this thing. Future me will find out that it doesn't work at all because it's too thin and it takes so much space. Just in a moment you're gonna see all the options I had, until I found the best solution. Now I need to split the case into parts. They're gonna have slightly different design, and I'm gonna attach them using bolts. And during this project I realized that my skills are horrible. And I need to learn the proper way. So I spent 1 week to learn how to use Fusion 360. I'm gonna use it in the next project. Let's cut the slot for the plug. I travel a lot, so it's very important for me to swap the plug from American to European. One more boolean, and this side is ready. I decided to add ornaments and holes. I wanted to connect MacBook and the charger visually, and also it would provide a little bit of ventilation. As usual, brought it to Cinema 4D and used boolean. Then I saved all the parts separately and printed them. And here's the final part. As you can see, one side is not working properly because of a crazy amount of booleans, but luckily it didn't affect printing. But now let's have a look at the other options. And I am so proud of myself, as I never did anything that complex in 3D. First one is a total fail. The charger didn't fit inside. I made it fit in the next version, but then I realized a stupid mistake. Bolt interferes with the socket. I know. And also cable holder sucks. So I changed position of the bolts and improved the cable holder. But with this holder you have to be very precise how you put the cable in. And that is the final one. I added place for lanyard and came up with a new solution for the cable holder, which works amazing. So let's assemble it right now. It's so satisfying when everything comes together as intended. And it's ready! I love it. You're probably thinking what's next. And it's the scariest part of the project, spray painting it. I live in Germany, so I hope they won't leave me a note about the smell. Let's go. As you can see, something is wrong with my cap. It leaves splatters all over the place. I painted it a few times to reduce this texture. I'm gonna use glue to attach everything to the laptop. I'd rather use epoxy, but I can't wait anymore, so I'm gonna use what I've got. I'm starting working on the bottom. It's very simple and quick to put everything in place. Now let's flip it and do the other side. It's very interesting to see how it loses all the Apple's identity and becomes part of my world. Attention, this part is very important. You call it damage, I call it getting ahead of fate. It consists of 3 things: sanding, scratching, and darkening. Specifically in this order. And I do this to every single work of mine. It gives you this superpower of not being scared to damage your thing. But let's talk a little bit more about darkening. Because I work with white paint, it helps to build some volume. Also, it makes the object unique, as it's impossible to recreate the texture. And it gives to the object this antique look, which I really like. Then I'm gonna use my template to put all the Velcro stickers in place. I use duct tape to secure it. Let's place 31 stickers. And boys, template is the savior. I didn't realize that this template wouldn't work on the back, so I had to cut some bits here and there. Ugly, but works. Just please give me 5 seconds to finish with this side. And while I was doing that, I realized that I want to share this project on Reddit and see the precious reaction of Apple fanboys. Oh boy, this hurts. And now the moment of truth. Removing the template and applying the last circle. Always check the adhesion. After that, I decided to make a set of objects that I'm gonna attach to the computer and carry it daily. I'm not gonna show you the full design process, just the final result. Of course, adapter for memory stick and USB. Tiny and useful measuring tape, lighter for my instance, another USB adapter, and a memory stick.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching. This project took me more than 2 months from the idea to the final video. So I'm very happy with the result and looking forward to test it. In a way, this project is a love letter to Apple and YouTube. And Apple, if you're watching, I would love to make project with you.
By the way, I already worked with you twice.
And now YouTube. YouTube is my favorite thing. Every morning of mine starts with a cup of coffee and a few videos. I always wanted to be part of this community. So here we go now. See you in the next video and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Of course,